All right, everybody. We want Dallas. We want Dallas. We want Dallas. We want Dallas. We want Dallas.
Yeah.
Cowboy Nation, what is happening? Live and in living color, we bring to you the Noise of the Boys podcast, a Dallas Cowboys Homer exclusive from our studio at HQ1. I am your co-host, color commentator, Matt Longoria, and with me, as always, my right-hand dude sitting to my left, Uncle C. Tom.
What's up, everybody? Matt and I are just two true blue, over-the-top, die-hard fanatics that help you come together to celebrate those wins, but still find those silver and blue linings in the losses. We are here to make some noise about the boys. How are we feeling today, Matt Long?
If you watch tonight's game, you know exactly how I'm feeling. How about them Cowboys?
Indeed. Let's go.
And guys, on a serious note, the only thing that can make me happier is if you'll smash that thumbs up button, comment below your initial reaction to this game, share this with a fellow Dallas Cowboys fan that you know, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into it, Cowboy Nation. What do you say?
What do you say? What I say is Washington. You wanted us, you got us. NFL, you want us, you got us.
You get what you get in this league, and a dish that's best served cold is revenge. Not that it was needed in this one, but I think this was a statement game for Dallas. They came in, left no doubt, and they went home, and we're all convinced. So I'm going to get right into my winners and losers.
Let's get right into it, man.
Okay, where do I start?
There's just so much to pick from. I mean, this game was ridiculous.
Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, Trayvon Diggs, Corey Clement, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, the list goes on. And to be honest with you guys, this was a complete complimentary win. This was a complete team win. I'm not even going to put in losers for this game.
How could you? I mean, seriously, who could you pick as a loser if you had to pick one? I mean,
and we talked about this. I mean, we were struggling to come up with one, and if we had to pick a loser, it would probably just have to go to Greg Zuerlein just for that one mishap of a kickoff where it went out of bounds. But I mean, come on, this was just an absolute blowout, and we got a lot to cover today. I'm not certain what the spread was going into this game, but I can guarantee you nobody saw this one coming. So let's just get right into it. So Dallas offense comes out looking like they've looked for the past 4 or 5 games. 6 plays, 7 yards and a punt. That was the very first drive. So at the half, the score was 42-7. So here's some stats for you guys. Dak Prescott at the half, 27 for 35, 321 yards, 4 touchdowns. He finishes the game at the end of everything with 131.3 rating. He found 9 receivers in the first half, including lineman Terrence Steele for a gotcha TD.
How awesome was that, man?
Man, that is every lineman's dream. Trust me, coming straight from a guy that's blocked for a QB, you always want to have you always want to be able to say that you caught a touchdown or ran one in. So hats off to Terrence Steele. He went straight for Mike McCarthy after that one and gave him a big old hug. So that was really nice to see. Dak, TP, and Zeke combined for 15 carries for 73 yards in the first half. And this is all first half stats, okay? For the offense, it was a tale of one half. We got it done. So Amari Cooper in the first half, 7 receptions for 85 and a TD. Dalton Schultz, 7 receptions for 74 and a TD. I mean, not to mention that Dak Prescott was just simply hitting his receivers on the money. He was absolute money in the first half, and the receivers were taking some pretty big hits. And in a games previous where receivers will just make these really ridiculously horrible drops, they were hanging on to the ball. So hats off to all of Dak's receivers. They were taking ginormous hits. I mean,
yeah, they were in. I mean, good for them hanging on to the ball, man. But like, gosh, I mean, this offense just exploded out of nowhere for the last 3 weeks. Cowboys Nation, you guys been hearing it from us. Where's that offense? We need to figure out. Dak has got to get better. The receivers got to catch the ball. We need to run we got to run the ball better. The offensive line has to find some continuity. It's like all of it just kind of gelled at the same time, and it was fantastic to see. I don't care who you're playing. You're playing an NFL team, and anytime you can put up 56 points, including 42 in the first half, man, that, and considering where we are in the season, perfect timing, man. This is very, very exciting for this Cowboys team.
And speaking of timing, I think it's very telling what you're getting from this team, because going into the game, before we even kicked off just to start the game as a whole, Dallas already clinched NFC East. Okay. So what does that mean? That means we could lose out and we're guaranteed at least the 4th seed. Okay. So you don't need to come into this game firing on all cylinders with a chip on your shoulder with something to prove. You've already proven that you can win your division and you're playoff bound, but it's very telling for a team to come out and respond to all the criticism, specifically offensively. And man, it was just something, it was a sight to see. Leading up to the pregame podcast and podcasts before, I was saying, okay, this is going to be the game. This is going to be the game where the offense fires back. This is where they're going to bounce back and come back. And then during the pregame, I was like, all right, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to expect the defense to do their thing. And I'm going to sit back and watch the offense and see what they can do. And they showed up.
I mean, this is the way that this game played out is how everybody, or at least Cowboys fans, thought that 2 weeks ago was about to play out, because we go up, what was it, 21-0 at the half?
Washington.
2 weeks ago?
Something like that. 24, whatever it was.
24-0, something like that. So you're thinking we're about to rout them. They ended up, making a push at the end, and we don't get where our offense is out of sync at the end of the game. And I mean, there was just no slowing down. I mean, I know we came out looking a little lackadaisical out of the third. Not exactly that explosion that we saw in the first half, but when you're up 42-7, I mean, it's hard to keep that same intensity and to keep going like that. So not exactly the most efficient, way for them to come out, but, got all the starters out. Backups came in, and they were still playing at an efficient level. And when you're up with that kind of score, let's just get some long, sustaining drives, try to get 3 out of it, and let's get out of here, man.
Right. If there was ever an appropriate time for a team to come out lackluster in the second half, it's when you come into the second half leading 35. I don't think that there's anybody in the world that was like, oh, they're going to come out and continue to pile it on. Obviously, I don't know what you thought, Uncle C-Tom, but for me, I personally thought they were going to come out and slowly take their foot off the gas pedal as they do, but I also wasn't anticipating 2 more touchdowns, so that was also very nice,
especially since one of them was a blocked punt for a touchdown, man. Like, I don't even think I've ever seen the Cowboys have 2 blocked punts for a touchdown in a single season. I don't think that's ear happened as long as I've been alive. I can't remember. Well, Cowboys Nation, you let us know.
Right. A little stat for you guys. And I could be butchering this, but I know for a fact that the franchise record is 3 block punts. So that is matched with Corey Clement's block today.
Shout out to Corey Clement, man.
Seriously. I mean,
finding ways to contribute. I mean, with 3rd string running back a couple weeks ago, he had a significant role in the offense. I don't think he touched the ball at all on offense today. Then he comes out and he makes a play with a blocked punt. I mean, he's straight LeBron James that
sent it back.
He sent it back. It was incredibly athletic, man. And
then the fortuitous bounce to Chauncey
just landed right in his lap. It was great.
Fantastic. Just to put us up, I think at that point it put us up
49-7 is what we went up. That was in the 3rd quarter, 6:06 remaining. And just to give a little bit of context of how big of a blowout this was. And you know what, Washington? This is what your bum ass gets with your no-name ass. This is what you get. Coming in here thinking you're going to prove a point with your little benches, your heated benches inside of the 80-degree dome. This is what you get, okay? You know what you get? 3:21 left in the game, and you're down 56-7. I mean,
that's a 49-point deficit.
That's just insane. I don't think I've seen that. And if I have, I'm just completely forgetting about it. But this is just crazy. I mean, 497 total yards of offense compared to Washington at 257. They struggled all night long. Couldn't even get over 260 yards of offense. We won the turnover battle 2-0. The time of possession was even, but it's really just because we were in hurry up offense so much, and we were getting scores on big plays like the D-Law.
It definitely evened out at the end.
Yeah. And listen to this. This is the one that's mind-blowing. 28 first downs for Dallas, 14 for Washington. And they probably picked up the majority of those in the second half when they were trying to come back. And I mean, these stats are just ridiculous. I'm literally Cowboys Nation. I am at a loss. I am blown away. I have never seen anything like this for a Dallas Cowboys team ever. This is awesome.
Back to the stats that I had for the first half. I actually didn't get a touch on the defense, but the defense actually combined for 3 sacks on efforts from Parsons, D-Law, and Curse. You got 2 INTs as well from Diggs on the very first drive, on the very first play of Washington's very first play of the game. They take a shot downfield, and stride for stride was Diggs with his defender. I'm sorry, with I believe who was he guarding at that point? I can't remember.
Who's that?
T. Diggs when he took that INT.
It's probably McLaurin. That's who he's been on for the majority. I can't remember, but
whomever it was, stride for stride with that man, was watching the ball the whole time, came down with it. I mean, I think at that point that certainly set the tone for the rest of the game, because after that, 5 straight offensive possessions turned into touchdowns. And then that was intertwined with the DeMarcus Lawrence INT, the pick 6. I mean, just what a heads up play. The guy's bear claw absolutely just stops all the momentum of the ball, pops it up. He's looking for it. He grabs it. And no one's getting in front of a freight train unless you want to get run over. So D-Law, hats off to you.
Absolute savage play, man. He's laughing the whole way into the end zone. He literally looked like a tight end. That was
no one's going to make that tackle.
I just want to know where everybody that was saying that D-Law isn't worth the $20 million a year, I want to know what they're thinking right now. Oh, It's about time. Probably something stupid like that. Oh, but he doesn't get sacks. You know what? That's what D-Law provides for this team. And, man, you can't understate the value that he brings to this defense. I mean, since he's come back, this defense has just gone to a whole nother level. And that's what we were talking about a few weeks ago when he was coming back. I think, was it for the Saints game he came back? We were like, man, this is going to take us to another level. And we're seeing it right now.
They look absolutely impenetrable. And, hats off to Dak Prescott and the offensive unit for having such a short-term memory. I mean, you can definitely feed off the negative energy coming into this game. But in the first half alone, 5 for 5 in the red zone. That was a sight for sore eyes, man. We needed to see that. And if there was ever a confidence booster, if there was ever a tune-up game going into a very important one against Arizona next week, this is when we needed it to happen.
6 for 6. To end
fantastic. And then also time of possession for the first half. And you brought up that we came up just about even, but in the first half alone, Dallas dominates 20 minutes to 9, or about 21 to 9. So, I mean, you take care of business in the first half every single game, and this is how it's going to turn out.
You get to play prevent defense. I mean, we outscored the Washington bum-ass no-name football team. We outscored them by 49 points in both of the games combined this year. I mean, I would love to know, maybe this is a stat I should have looked up before we started, but I would love to know when was the last time we had this sort of margin of victory over a division rival. Absolute ass whooping, man.
That's where I come in, ladies and gentlemen. I actually do have a stat for you guys. Let me pull it up for you. Okay. Down to the day, 28 years ago, on December 26th, 1993, the Dallas Cowboys defeated Washington in Texas Stadium 38-3, a 35-point win. And up until tonight, that was the largest marginal victory. I got you.
It's considering, what the narrative was for the last 3 weeks moving into this game. This is absolutely everything that you wanted to see. You didn't want to see one phase of the ball, fall off while the offense picked things back up. You know, the defense maintained, maybe even elevated their game tonight. And we're recording this Sunday evening for those of y'all that are watching. And the offense just complete 180. I mean, the story of the last 3 games was, oh man, you know, hopefully, you know, we can just tighten things up in the red zone and we can score some points off of our defense, and our defense will carry us to, dude, that is done with. This was a tune-up game. We're getting confidence at the perfect time. We're going against Arizona. Imagine if we can play at this level against Arizona. And one more quick point before you go. We did all of this without Tyron Smith. I mean, we did give up the 3 sacks, but I mean, we've seen in previous seasons and previous games where losing Tyron Smith, sealing up that left side, just completely wrecks everything for us. And that wasn't even a factor. It never even crossed my mind. I think it was like late into the first half. I was like, oh man, Tyron Smith isn't even playing. I completely forgot about that. And anytime that happens, man, you know that it's a good day.
Yeah, you forget about guys like Tyron Smith and Blake Jarwin that are big additions to the Dallas offense. But just was simply not needed tonight. Tyron, I hope you really made the most of this game off, because they certainly did without you, sir. Going into the second half, we definitely talked about this. They came out a little bit lackluster, but the defense stayed the course, man. They absolutely did.
Sure did.
On the third Washington drive of the second half, there was a blocked punt. Obviously, we mentioned Corey Clement. Let's see. Also, Chauncey Golston, that's the guy that the ball fell into the lap of for the touchdown. He also combined for a sack with Terrell Basham earlier in that drive on Heineke. So that was also really awesome. So, yeah, defense, man. Defense wins championships.
It really does. And Cowboys Nation, we have so much to be excited for. We're on a 4-game winning streak. Going into tonight, we had just won 3 in a row on the road. And we come in and, you know, that's what we were kind of talking about, you know, going into tonight. We were saying, hey, we're on the road and we're playing teams that are fighting for playoff spots. We're playing division opponents. You know, these games are going to be tough. You know, we're beat up. We're dealing with COVID. There was all kinds of outside factors. And while some may say that those are excuses, those are real things that NFL teams have to deal with on a week-to-week basis. And I feel like people, you know, kind of start to think like, you know, these guys are superhuman, that they don't have like emotion. They don't have like injuries. And just because they're out there, like there are real outside contributing factors to why the Cowboys went through a slump. We saw Kansas City, who is on an absolute tear right now, go through a slump early in the season. Happens to absolutely everybody, and we're seeing the Cowboys turn it around right now, and there's plenty of reason to be excited, man.
Dallas has really got a really good time, especially when Arizona is doing the exact opposite. It's interesting to see how the playoff picture is playing out, because you've actually got LA in the spot where we thought Arizona would be.
Things can change real fast, man. That's the NFL.
Super interesting. Now, if anybody's following on how to actually get to the number 1 seed at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we need to take care of business the last 2 weeks of the season, and we need Green Bay to drop one of their last 2. Okay. Realistically, we obviously, if you've watched the season thus far, you think that it has to come against Vikings next Sunday night. Crossing the fingers, because Baker Mayfield, F you, man, okay? Because that was ridiculous. That showing you call yourself the starting QB in Cleveland, Ohio. I got no words for you, my dude. You absolutely pissed the bed, and I am just furious.
You know what? At this point,
ruin my Christmas.
At this point, whatever. Because at the end of the day, the Cowboys are on an absolute roll. And if we have to go into Green Bay and we have to play, you know, the Packers, and they are not exactly playing their best football, especially on the defensive side.
They're playing like some escape artists right now.
I mean, they really are, truly. I mean, get this Dallas defense in front of a team like Green Bay, and, you know, we'll see who the better team is. I think that Dallas, you know, if they can find anywhere close to the way that they played today in a situation where they're in Green Bay on the road in the playoffs, I mean, how can you deny that Dallas isn't going to win? I mean, obviously they have Aaron Rodgers, they've had our number, but man, I don't know if there's a better contender in the league than the Dallas Cowboys right now. They're just peaking at the right time, and it looks like they finally got their offense rolling.
Let's hope so. We need to bring that obviously next week going into home against Arizona. And here's the reality, guys. Dallas needs to take care of business. There's still 2 weeks left before playoffs start. So take care of business at home against Arizona. Take care of business away against Philly. 6-0 in the division. Don't know when the last time that happened. But look, Green Bay can lose. Okay? The number 1 seed is absolutely not out of the question. The playoffs can absolutely run through AT&T Stadium. And Minnesota's gotten it done earlier this year. Any given Sunday. And never count out a team that's fighting for playoff spots. And never count out a team that has nothing to lose and is just looking to upset.
Absolutely.
Okay? So it's absolutely not out of the question. Just keep your fingers crossed. But the only thing that the Cowboys can control is the people that they face. And that's it. So I do want to talk a little bit about our bold predictions. Mine specifically, and just to remind you, I predicted about 8 to 10 targets, over 100 yards, and a touchdown for Amari Cooper. He ended up with 11 targets, 7 receptions, 85 yards, and a TD.
Damn close.
Not down to a T, but I'll give myself an A-. As far as my score prediction, I predicted 35-14. So for the Washington, spot on. Now, I don't have any problems with me getting Dallas's final score correct, or incorrect rather. 56 points. They made history tonight with the biggest marginal win in Cowboys history, not since a win over Arizona, which took place October 22nd, 2000. That was a 48-7 win. Franchise records out the ass this year.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So,
touching on my bold prediction, I said I think it was 30 or 35 carries for 180 yards. I was close on the carries. The yardage wasn't necessarily there, but man, at the end of the day, what I did predict was that we were going to find some great efficiency in the run game and that we would see Dak Prescott be efficient in the run game this week as well. And that's exactly what we saw, man. I mean, we've got Zeke Elliott, 9 carries, 37 yards, an average of 4.1. You saw him bulldoze 3 guys for a touchdown. My guy Zeke just absolutely eaten. Absolutely insane. Tony Pollard, 8 carries, 34 yards, 4.3 average. Dak Prescott, 4 carries, 21 yards, 5.3 carry average. Corey Clement, I stand corrected. I thought that he didn't do much on the offense, but he did get 4 carries, 18 yards, 4.5 average. I mean, when you're that efficient in the run game and you play as good defense as they did today, you are a Super Bowl contender, and there's no doubt about it. And I'm just happy that my bold prediction was somewhat right. I'll give myself a B+ on that. We found efficiency, and that's the most important thing, Cowboys Nation.
Key takeaways, guys. All right, the division is locked up. It's a wrap. Dallas has won that right. NFC East title champions, okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing is we're still in the running for number 1 seed. And the third thing is take care of business, okay? Offense seems to be finding themselves. They need to take this into, not just the next coming weeks, into the playoffs as a whole. We are absolutely winning. If we can take out the likes of Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott before the fourth quarter even starts, absolute win, okay? If we can do that every game, obviously that's an ideal world. This is the NFL. We don't see that happening. But, this is just fantastic. So, Cowboy Nation, enjoy this victory Monday because it's well-deserved.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to enjoy it. I can tell you all that much. Let's get an honorable mention for our winners. I'm going to give it to Cooper Rush, man. This guy came out and he actually did really well.
His first drive, right?
Yeah, he came out with 2 for 3, 70 yards, threw a touchdown, 97 QBR. Did exactly what you need to in that situation. Came right out. And this guy is making himself, one of the better backups in the league, in my opinion. So shout out to him. Corey Clement, another honorable mention, dude. Maybe even just a winner in general, came out with that big play in the special teams and then ran the ball with efficiency to end the game. Malik Turner, another winner, 3 receptions, 82 yards. Yeah. Obviously, the big 61-yarder in the second half. It's hard to give, winners here because there's just so many.
Right.
And I give the defense, a win. Everybody on defense as collectively as a whole is a winner, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. It's just an absolute complimentary win. You've got 5 or 6 offensive scores, a defensive score. You've got a special team score, dude. We talked about this with JC in our group chat. What more can you ask for? I mean, you be the judge. Cowboy Nation, comment below. What more can we ask for? What more are you looking to see from a team like this going into the playoffs? What more do we need to develop to make a deep playoff run and hopefully grab number 6? You let us know.
Let's go for 6, y'all. Silver and blue lining this week. There is no silver and blue lining because we were so great on all 3 phases of the game. I mean, honestly, if there is a silver and blue lining, offense has got it going. Let's carry this into Arizona. Let's get this win against Arizona. Let's try and see if we can get something in for the 1 and 2 seed. Hey, like you said, at the end of the day, we've got the division. We've got a home playoff game. We're in the tournament, man, and we're one of the best teams in the league. So let's go get 6. I mean, I'm hyped. I'm so psyched. Football season is so much more fun when the Cowboys are good, man. I don't care what anybody says.
So before we take off for today, ladies and gentlemen, we just want to highlight our guy, Dak Prescott. As you guys know, and as we've admitted in the past, we are huge Dak apologists. And as we have been anticipating for several weeks, the guy that we know and love came out to play tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You kind of picked up the vibe pregame when he's getting his team hyped up. Everybody gets a high five. Everybody gets a fist bump. And the dude was just dropping it in the absolute bucket today. I mean, every throw, it was just on the money. Even the ones where there was drops or there was just a really good defense and they knocked the ball away, you were like, good throw. I mean, he just made good decisions all around the day, made moves with his feet. I mean, I am just super impressed and really happy to see a guy that that I've seen before and have been waiting for to come back. He made his return today.
This is what everybody surrounded with Cowboys football and the NFL in general has been talking about. This is what we need out of Dak Prescott, man. He is my absolute biggest winner from the day. I mean, his stat line tells the story alone, especially when 98% of it came from the first half. I mean, what more do you want from the guy? I think he had one throw where I was like, oh, man, that was close. That was a bad decision. But, I mean, Chris Collinsworth did a great job on the broadcast tonight talking about his mechanics and, comparing some of the things that have changed. And you can tell that Dak's been putting in the work.
Absolutely.
There's reports going around that they're staying late after practice or meeting up to try and work together, the quarterbacks and the receivers. And you can see that it's paying off. And this offense is really just starting to get into a groove. And this is exactly what I've been waiting for. I can't harp on it enough. It's just so funny how the NFL works, with maybe 5, 6, 7 weeks straight of just piss poor offense. Right. And we're just able to turn it on. We're a very explosive football team. And man, I don't think that there's any contender that is better than us right now. And I don't think that there's anybody in the NFL that wants to see us right now.
Dak Prescott being the leader of this team, it's super important for him to have a very strong psyche going into divisional games, going into the very meaningful games against Arizona, and especially going into the playoffs. He has to absolutely have confidence with them, have confidence in his receivers, in his offense as a whole unit, and it absolutely showed tonight.
Yeah, what else can be said, really? Cowboys Nation, follow us on Twitter at Noise of the Boys. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Help us grow this channel. We want to reach out to as much of Cowboys Nation as we possibly can. Dallas Cowboys winning big, 56-14, getting back into the number 2 seed, clinching the NFC East before we even kick off. Still made a damn statement. Man, how about them Cowboys?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've made it this far, we want to thank you for your time and attention and hope you've learned something of value here in the last half hour with us. Smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and activate that bell button so that you can be the first to know when a new episode of Noise of the Boys is dropped. And with that, we are out of here. Matt Longoria and Uncle C. Tom, and we will see each and every one of you for the pregame report.
Peace!